Hi, everybody. Welcome to InkThink. I'm Prem Sundram, founder and creator of InkThink. As you know, InkThink is an ink-based thinking tool. It's a calendar, it's a task list, it's a planning tool for all your ideas and thoughts. What you're seeing here is my Onyx Books Air 3C device being projected onto my computer so I can screen share with you. I've got my Wacom stylus here. So we're going to just show you some of the new features in the canvas, which I've added. I find it very helpful to be visualizing thoughts and ideas on a whiteboard sort of canvas. I've tried to make that sort of possible in InkThink. So if we go to the canvas icon, and you'll see here by clicking on that fourth icon, and then I'm going to create a new canvas by clicking on the button on the right hand side. And we'll just call this showcase. Okay. Now, one of the things that I love is sort of visualizing ideas, but then being able to organize and rearrange them. And this is one of the things that makes InkThink unique from other apps. As you know, or some of you might know, that I also am the creator of NoteDex, which is an index card app. And we also have a canvas there. And you can move these index cards around. So these are your atomic thoughts, as it were. So not just scribbling on an ink-based drawing canvas, which is nice, but then, it's not easy to move the ink around on the screen. With InkThink, you can create small cards and then move them on the screen. And this is very helpful when you start thinking about doing, planning or analysis. So to create your first card, you just click the plus icon and the index card appears for you to enter the entry. Don't forget you can resize the ink input area, and you can go left and right and up and down, so that looks nice. So just in this example, let's say that I'm thinking through a business problem, and maybe it's like a competitive analysis, doing the pros and cons of things. So let's maybe sort of do that for InkThink, and I'll be thinking, well, what are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, that sort of framework. So one of the strengths I could say for InkThink is that it is pen based. Okay. And so I add that to the canvas, and I can move it around by dragging it around, and also I can sort of give it an outline, and we'll give it a little green outline for a strength. Now I'll add another one, and I'll just sort of quickly brainstorm. So another maybe a weakness is we don't have it on the Mac OS yet. Okay, and actually that's because Mac doesn't support a stylus, so I'm being a bit cheeky there. But we'll do that Mac OS there, and for the Mac OS, and I'll give it a purple color here. Opportunities. What's an opportunity for InkThink? I think we can be doing more marketing to get the message out. Okay. And I'll give that a blue color on that. And what's a threat? Well, maybe we'll just say other pen-based apps. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? Well, one of the things I want to show you today is a new feature. I'm just going to reduce the magnification just a couple of points. There we go. Now, as I said, I can move these around, and I know in my mind that the analysis looks like this. So I think I'll have strengths up here. I'll have weaknesses down here. Sorry, I'll have, yes, that's right. Threats I'll put down here, and opportunities here. So you start to see a bit of a quadrant, but we now have the ability to add grid lines onto the canvas, and this really transforms the experience. So as you can see here, you can not only insert a grid of cards to make it quicker for you, but we've now added this thing called a background, and we can have optional guidelines. I'm going to include a cross, and if I just scroll down, the positioning is relative to the screen and relative to the whole canvas, and I'm going to do it for the screen. And in this example, I will actually call it a blue color, and we'll apply it. So now you see we actually have a quadrant, which is much nicer. And you can start to see that as we move our cards around, it starts to look much more like a traditional XY analysis. And I could start adding in some other things, which is, other advantages, it's sort of atomic notes. And I move them around here, and we start to see how we can really visualize and get a good idea for our notes. Finally, don't forget, you can share this canvas. So maybe you want to share that with your friends, and let's say we send it over by email. So if I click on Outlook, it will then attach it to an email. As you can see here, it just takes a little moment with a Book's device. It's a bit slow, but as you can see, it's attached to the canvas. Or maybe you can't see it there because it doesn't show. But anyway, trust me, it shows. So just going back to the app then. So we have the canvas. We can now include grid lines onto the canvas, and you can export. So we hope you find that helpful and useful for your planning and your productivity.